Live stream. We're going to do a live stream. I'm not very good at doing live streams, but I got to fucking do live streams because I have to sometimes. So welcome. First off, I am not selling anything. Usually when I do live streams, it's around something I'm selling. This is pure content today. I'm not selling anything. I'm sure I will mention stuff because I'm a capitalist. I'm running a business here, but I am not. I'm not selling anything today. This is just pure content for you. And why am I doing live stream? Well, a few reasons. First off is right now, this week, next week, and the following week, at least half the following week, I am, as you probably already know, you can tell by this horrible bleak office, I am back in the Portland, Oregon area, and I am rounding up my wife and all of her crap to make her final move to Dubai. So this is, I'm spending the next 2 weeks packing, canceling addresses, canceling leases, canceling utility bills, saying goodbye to family and friends and coworkers and a few FBs. And so because once we're out of here, Big Firefly out of here on the 28th of, what is the camera? I keep bouncing around. I don't know. Once, hi Jordan, hi Vadim. Excuse me. Once Pink Firefly and I are out of here, I will be back in the United States sporadically, but I have no plans to ever come back to the Portland, Oregon area ever again, nor do I want to. If it's up to me, I will never come back here ever again. I probably will have to do things like fly in and for like a day to do some business and then leave because I have a storage unit here and a few things. But I have to sever all the ties and get all that severed. I didn't have to sever that last year when I moved to Dubai because it was just me. And so how do I now? Let me start doing the comments in a second before I finish this rant. Not a rant. The reason why I'm doing live stream. So because of this week and next week, my schedule is going to be a little off. My social media content posting schedule is going to be a little off. I will be a little behind on these things. I warned my staff about this, but I still want to give you content. And we have content coming up next week. We just did the Alpha 2.0 Orlando experience, which is probably the best event we've ever done. I've done a bunch, and this is probably my favorite one. We had a really good time. Mr. Lucario was there. He and I talked a lot. There is a YouTube video going up of him and I talking. I'll put that up next week. So I do have some content, but I need some content. So I'll just do this. I'll do live streams. And that way this turns into a normal YouTube video when it's over with on both Facebook and YouTube. That's the primary reason I'm doing this live stream. Now, another reason I'm doing this live stream is I really don't know how the YouTube algorithm and the Facebook algorithm, for that matter, handles or likes or dislikes live streams rather than posted videos. So I'm very curious about if I do a live stream like this, which is pure content, not selling anything, how this will do in terms of other videos I've done that were not live streams. Regardless of the number of guys who show up live here, I have no idea how many guys will show up. Maybe 4 or 5. Oh, I can see the count up there. Okay, cool. So I'm very curious about how well the algorithm handles live streams. Does it favor live streams? Does YouTube like live streams? Does it not like live streams? Because I know there are guys, Lucario is one of them, Rolo's another one, who do pretty much nothing but live streams. That's all they do. Is just they do a live stream a day for 2 or 3 hours. And then they might cut it up for shorts and things like that. So I'm super curious about how the algorithm handles a content-based live stream instead of me posting video. I'm really curious about that. By the way, if you guys know, and you may not, if you guys know whether or not YouTube handles live stream content differently than posted content, let me know in the chat. If not, that's okay, because I guess we'll find out. I'm checking my notes. I actually have notes because I have a lot to cover today. Let's see. What else I want to cover before I get into the content? Oh, so really fast. Right after I said I wouldn't sell anything, I'm not selling anything. Wrong. The mastermind, there's a Scottsdale mastermind in June and a Greece mastermind where I spend the entire day and evening with you with less than 5 guys. There's a few slots left in the Greece one as of this moment. Scottsdale's halfway, more than half full. I think there's 2 more slots left for Scottsdale. Okay, so if you went in on this, I'll make sure there's a link on this video when the video is up. Plus, most of you got an email about it. I think there's a YouTube video about this too. There's a link there. You want in on this, get in now, because it's one of those few things I do where I'm limiting it to 5 people each. There you go. Let's see. Let's look at some comments before I go into my my stuff here. See if I'm doing this right. I'll do Q&A at the end. But I'll look at this. What do I get? A very low rating of Joe Biden. Because Joe Biden sucks, and even people who voted for him thought he sucked. I mean, this is, I don't know why anyone's surprised about this. Yeah. Yeah, Portland's not only a shithole, Portland is literally one of the worst cities in the entire Western world. I mean, it's awful. I've been here now for, 6 weeks, minus a week in Vegas and a little bit in Orlando. I've hated every minute here. I like Pink Firefly. I like my family. I like my FBs here. But other than that, I just driving around, it's disgusting. I'm actually in, I'm in Vancouver, Washington, which is a suburb of Portland, effectively. And just a year or two ago, there were no homeless people here because it was far enough from Portland where it didn't matter. Now there are. So the homeless, like most cities of the West Coast, American West Coast, soon to be all cities in the United States. Get ready. If you don't want to leave the United States, get ready for this. The homeless problem is radiating out from the core. It's now in the suburbs. And so literally, like right down the street, we've got homeless people. This is a suburb. And in this office building, for the first time ever, I know the owners of this building because I've been renting this building off and on, or offices building for a while. I was talking to the owners or the owners' reps, and they're like, for the first time ever in like 35 years, we've had to hire a security guard. I said, really, why is that? Because crime and homeless people. We've never had this problem way out here, but we do now. Get ready, collapse of the United States. Jordan, you are correct, and my staff has been on my ass. So my staff has promoted Pink Firefly. Pink Firefly now actually works in our business. She is now the social media manager for things like Instagram and YouTube, and so she's going to start taking a lot more video. Once we're settled in Dubai, there's a lot of Dubai content coming, a lot, because I'm guilty of spending all this time in Dubai, and I work all day, and I don't think about posting content for you guys, and that's very popular content. Gets a lot of hits and shit. Paraguay too. You guys love Paraguay. I'm getting all kinds of customers and clients from my Paraguay content. I had no idea. So cool. I think you've solved much. Wow, that's very nice of you, music. Thank you very much. That's very nice of you. Cool. Love it. Watch Whiplash, peer recommendation to get the clients. Oh, Whiplash is one of the best movies ever made. Especially if you are a go-getter driver type personality like I am. Yeah, it is a movie, one of those few movies that when I watch, I relate to it, and I just go, oh my God, I'm in this movie. This is crazy. Yeah, it's amazing. A few more comments to get to the content, then we'll do comments afterwards. How do you market your content to foreigners when the West has collapsed? Well, I've been marketing content. Well, I've been marketing services to foreigners for years. I'm an international location-dependent consultant, so I've been doing consulting worldwide for 20 years. I mean, I've been a consultant for 25, working internationally for, let's see, 2005-ish, so 15 years. Is that right? Seems like longer. 17 years, something like that. How do you market content to foreigners? Ask me a little later. That's probably a big question. All right. Let me look at the comments here. I'll do one more. Up there, financial. Cool. Love it. Are you implying that my friend Andrew Henderson doesn't give a shit about you? Is that what you're implying? I've gotten a lot of those. They're like, thank God you're talking about this stuff because Andrew doesn't want to talk because I don't make $1 million a year yet. And Andrew's a friend of mine. Nothing against Andrew. Andrew's great. But he's chosen a niche. He's followed my advice. Well, it wasn't my advice, but he's taken my advice even though he didn't know my advice early on. All right. So let's, you can continue to post comments as I'm going. What I will do at the end is they'll do a brief Q&A at the end. And I have a hard out in about an hour and a half. We'll see how long we can go on this. And then I will just rewind the questions if I don't get to them. I don't even know how to do that thing where you like have to pay for comments. I should probably do that, should I? See, again, I don't know shit about fucking live streams. I'm using StreamYard. How do you do that? Is that a setting you turn on later? I don't even fucking know. Let me see here. Settings, camera. I'm just looking at this for a quick second. Virtual background. Oh, great. Unfortunately, your browser does not support the virtual background feature. Use Google Chrome. I hate Google Chrome. I don't hate Google Chrome. Just have no privacy in Google Chrome. All right, well, fuck all that shit. All right, so what do I want to talk about today? Oh, by the way, throughout this live stream, because it's live stream, I can't edit it. So what's going to happen is I'm going to be coughing a lot because a few hours ago for lunch, I swallowed something down the wrong tube, and I wasn't doing my mindful eating. And I swallowed something around, and I coughed I had a coughing fit, almost died. Pretty cool. And I've been coughing ever since then. So there's something lodged in my throat that isn't out yet, even though I've been drinking the water and coughing. And so I'll be coughing a little bit. So I don't like it. Tough shit. Okay. What I want to talk about today, what I want to help you with. I'm going to go over a story. Something happened to me about 23 years ago. God damn, I'm old. My birthday's next week. My birthday is 4/20, even though I don't smoke it. So my birthday is 4/20, and so we're having a little birthday party. Well, a little bit. I'm in Portland, so I don't want to do anything because I'm in fucking Portland. So anyway, we're doing a little thing next week. And then next month in May, I'm doing a birthday month. I'm doing 3 amazing things. You guys have to do with one of the amazing things. One of the amazing things, I'm jumping out of an airplane in Dubai. So doing that, something else to do with you guys. And then a third thing I haven't decided yet. But anyway, I turned 50. That's why it's kind of a big deal. And I've been kind of excited to turn 50. It's kind of cool. When you're a guy, it's kind of cool to get older. When you're a woman, you cry. When you're a guy, it's like, cool, I'm 50. This is pretty especially when you're 40s, is really good, and it has been. Anyway, so this is a long time ago. And this was a day that was not very fun for me, as you'll find out in a second. But it was one of the pivotal days in my life. And if you can understand what I'm trying to convey to you through this example, I have several examples I'm going to cover in this video. Hopefully it'll change the way you think about yourself and about what you deserve in life. Because your biggest enemy, there was a scene in Creed. Did you see Creed? Okay, remember Creed, where Rocky takes Creed over, he takes Michael B. Jordan in the mirror. He says, you see that guy in the mirror? That's your biggest enemy in life. That is your biggest adversary in life. You think, he doesn't say this, but you think that your enemy is, Joe Biden or left-wingers or your boss or your ex-girlfriend or whatever the fuck, your mom. No, your biggest enemy is you. And so your subconscious will limit what you do in your life based on what you think you deserve. So this is what happened to me. Now, before I get to what happened to me, got to give you context. Some of you who know my content pretty well, you know bits and pieces of my background. So I grew up in an environment, I grew up in a very strapped lower middle class family. And I hated it. I hated not having enough money for Christmas. I hated having, hand-me-down shit. I couldn't stand it. Later in life, my dad started making more money, but that's by the time I moved out of the house, like 18, 19, 20. By the time I was 30, he was doing pretty well. But when I was a little kid, it was really rough financially. I couldn't stand it. And when I moved out of the house, moved out at age 18, and there were days I couldn't put gas in my car to go to work. I couldn't afford it. I've talked about this. I would, when I was 18 years old, living by myself with no roommates in an apartment, I would pay my electric bill 4 months late every month because I knew I could wait at least 4 months before they shut the electricity off. That's how poor I was. And so I set a goal for myself to make $100,000 a year, a 10-year goal by age 28. And I did not go to college. I didn't want to go to college. And it's a goal that I put up on the wall. I did all the Tony Robbins stuff because I listened to him. Brian Tracy, Tony Robbins, all that stuff. Dan Kennedy. I put up this goal on my bathroom mirror, and I read it every day. And I would go around saying $100,000 a year, $100,000 a year. I did this for years. $100,000 a year. Now, this was I set this goal in 1990. I graduated in quotes, high school in 1990. I didn't actually graduate high school. I did not drop out of high school, but I did not graduate. I figured out in high school, you could get 2 Fs and not get credit for those 2 courses and still get a high school diploma. Well, I fucked up and I got 3 Fs, kind of on purpose. My GPA in high school was 1.1. So that is, if you didn't know, that is a D- average throughout the 4 years in high school. And the only reason I had a D- and not straight Fs is because my test scores are very high. I tested very well. Excuse me. So, because I'm kind of smart. I have a higher IQ. And so I didn't do any homework or any work. I would just read business books all day. I'd be in the back of the room with my jacket, look kind of like this jacket. Say we don't really grow. Back of the room, sometimes with one of the pretty stoner girls, and I would be reading business books all day instead of doing the homework. And so where was I going with this? See, I'm wandering. Live stream. Isn't this great? So anyway, not sure what my point was there. What was my point about my bad grades in high school? Anyway, I spent 10 years of my life focusing on this goal, $100,000 a year. And this was back when, this is where my point was. 1990, this was the late 80s, early 90s. Back then, why did my video just go out? Hang on, I'll wait. How's my internet? My internet good? Am I still good? Send me a chat, tell me you can still see me and hear me. Fucking live stream, man. I don't know if you can see me. There we go. Can you guys see me? Post something in the chat that you can see me. I won't continue until I see it. All right, cool. There's a delay there. Sorry. Anyway, this was the 90s, okay, late 80s, 90s. And back in the 90s, $100,000 was a lot of money. If you made $100,000 in the 80s, in the 90s, you were doing well. You were living a good life. Now, is that true today? No. Today, $100,000 is middle class. There are many cities in the Western world where if you only make $100,000 a year, you're actually lower middle class. I mean, Jesus Christ. If you make $100,000 a year today, all right, good luck living in Los Angeles, Tokyo, New York, Chicago, London. Good fucking luck buying a house in any one of those cities if you only make $100,000 a year. And this is because of 35 years of voting for the lesser of two evils. Certainly the United States, but Canada, Western Europe also. I mean, the logic of well, I have to vote for Hillary Clinton. Who am I supposed to, or excuse me, I have to vote for Donald Trump. Who am I supposed to vote for? Hillary. That kindergarten level of logic for the last 35 years is what Westerners have done. As I've talked about in my other content, when we used to talk about politics, which I don't, voting for the lesser of two evils is something you do once every 25 years because you have to. You don't do it every time you elect a president for 35 years straight. So one of the consequences of this is you've destroyed your currency and the value of your currency. So $100,000, which used to be a lot of money, now sucks. I mean, you're nowhere near rich if you make $100,000 a year today. It almost borderline sucks. And as the dollar continues to slowly decline over time, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. But anyway, back in the 1990s, 80s, when I set this goal, it was a big deal. $100,000 was a big deal. And so I just was wrapped up in this goal for years and years and years and years and years. Matter of fact, out of high school, or my senior year of high school, these college recruiters would come over to my house when I was a kid. And I would sit there with my mom and my dad and these college recruiters from all these different colleges. The reason they even gave a shit about me is because, again, my grades were shit, but my extracurricular activities were good. I was the president of the student company, even though my grades were terrible, and my test scores were very high. And so there was a few colleges who wanted me to borrow $80,000 and go get a useless fucking degree. So they sit there and say, you go to our college and, instead of making, $28,000 a year, you'll make $62,000 a year. Isn't that great, Caleb? Doesn't that sound good? And I said, well, my plan is to make $100,000 a year while still in my 20s. How do I do that? And they go, well, that laugh, that nervous laugh. Oh, shit. They'd say, well, you put your nose to the grindstone and get a good job, and work, climb that corporate ladder and work hard. And someday when you're 64 years old, maybe you can make that kind of money. And I said, that sounds fucking terrible. Get out of my house. And my mom would be furious. My mom would be so mad because my mom at that time was a teacher. She gets so mad. You have to go to college because societal programming and traditional. Ugh, shit. So anyway, so this was a goal I had for a long time. And I thought this goal every day. And I would go around saying it as an affirmation. I make $100,000 a year. I make $100,000 a year. 100,000. I would shout it out the window. When I was driving around as a junior consultant in my early 20s, in my Nissan 280Z, 1982 Nissan 280Z, which had the digital dashboard like Knight Rider, would talk. Fuel level is low. Brake is on. It had a female voice. And I'd roll down the window. I'd shout the window. I make $100,000 a year. Big goal for me. And I would have friends come over to my condo, my little apartment, see them coughing, and they would say, hey, what's up with that thing on your bathroom mirror about 100,000? What's up with that? What's up with that? What's up with that? So if you know my story, I've talked about this in the Unchained Man, my other books. One day when I was 27, not 28, a year in advance, I ran a profit and loss report, And it came out to $100,000, just over $100,000 a year in net income for me, 102,000 with some change. And I wrote about this, The Unchained Man. This was finally the goal I achieved. I worshipped and thought about for nothing but 9 years straight. I grabbed the thing and I danced around my office. My office, very similar to this, actually. A little shittier than this. This is pretty shitty, but even shittier than this. And I was dancing around my office and, oh my God, I was so excited. Oh my God, I make $100,000 a year. Oh my God, this is great. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I shifted because my mindset shifted in that, okay, I'm not poor anymore. I'm not poor. Now I'm rich, quote unquote. You're not rich, 100,000. Even back in the 90s, you weren't rich at $100,000, but you're doing well. And I'm like, holy shit. And I did it a year ahead of schedule. It didn't take me 10 years. It took me 9 years. And, you know, I've talked about this before. If this happened again today, it would take me 6 months or less. But anyway, it would be more 100,000, I promise you. But anyway, my whole mindset changed. And I started walking around thinking I was 20. How old was I? 27 years old. And I started walking around. Oh, by the way, I was already married by then. So I had a traditional monogamous marriage to a traditional wife, cute blonde wife, not super smoking hot, but cute, blonde. I had 2 children. And so lived in a nice house. And this all the time I was in my late 20s. And I started walking around thinking I was the shit. This is all going to come crashing down in a minute. So I'm leading up to what the actual point of the story, what actually happened. So I start walking around thinking I'm the shit. I make $100,000 a year. I'm like Steve Jobs. I'm like Bill Gates. I'm rich as fuck. Now I was nowhere near these guys, but I thought it was. Oh yeah, and it was bolstered by the fact that like I would have dinner or lunch with my dad, and sit down. I would show my dad my profit and loss statements and checking accounts and some other stuff based on how much money I was making. And he would just sit there and just shake his head. And he would say, I don't know how you're doing this. I don't know how you're making all this money. He was just thoroughly confused because he came out of the 1950s where you go to college and you work at a career, the same job for 37 years. And he's like, you know, you didn't get a high school diploma. You never went to college. You've never held down a job for longer than about 2 years, which was true. And you're making all this money. I don't understand how I just don't get it. I mean, I'm proud of you. I love you. This is great. I don't understand how you're doing this. And it is a weird experience. I can tell you from personal experience, it's a weird experience to make as much or more money than your dad or move into a nicer house than your dad lives. Because eventually within a few years, I was living in the second most expensive neighborhood in Oregon, up at the top of the hill. You know, a house was worth almost $1 million, again, back in mid-19 or 1990s dollars. So, I mean, it was weird. But that just bolstered my little stupid little boy ego about, oh, I'm awesome. I'm fucking awesome. I make 100,000. Yeah. Yeah, boy. So then this happened. So I wanted to make more money. And I thought, well, I want to make more money. I want to make, if I'm making 100,000 a year, I want to make 130,000 a year. Ooh. Oh my gosh, so much money. Again, it's so funny because today these numbers are meaningless. 130,000 is nothing today. But back then it was like, ooh, if I go from 100,000 to 130,000, man, shit, great. So my biggest mentor back then was Brian Tracy. Those of you know who he is. Probably the biggest mentor of my 20s and early 30s was Brian Tracy. And I spent hours and hours listening to all of his audio cassettes. I read almost all of his books he had back then. And he was like almost like a second father to me. And I finally had enough money to go join one of his coaching programs. And this coaching, I still remember this coaching program was $7,000 a year. And you had to fly to San Diego 4 times a year. Again, that's nothing compared to today. They're a lot more expensive today, but that's how it was back then. And I was excited to do that because I'm like, oh, it's cool. And you had to prove you made $100,000 a year or more, or you were not accepted in the program. So the 2 requirements were you had to prove you make $100,000 a year and you had to have your own business. So if you made $100,000 a year from a job, you weren't allowed in the program. You had to be self-employed. You had to make $100,000 a year or else you weren't allowed. So literally I had to fax in. We had to use faxes back then. When I signed up for the program, I paid the $7,000. I'm like, oh my God, so much money. Oh my God. Pay the $7,000. And they said, okay, you need to show proof of your income. And they had various things the way you prove it. So I faxed them all these documents because I was nervous that my tax return, you guys who have your own business, you know your tax return has a smaller number than what you actually make for tax purposes. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I had to send them all this shit. And they accepted it. They said, okay, you're accepted, you're approved. I'm like, oh, thank God. And I was very excited to go, very excited to meet Brian. And since then, I went. This is the first time I ever went. This is probably around 1999 or so, and very excited to see him. Very pumped, and flew down to San Diego. Spent the extra money to stay at the hotel where the event was. It's a kind of more expensive hotel, but I'm like, I'm rich. I make $100,000 a year. Who gives a shit? I just my head was this big swinging dick, right? So walk into the room, and there's about 40 people in the room, and I start talking to the cute little girl back there with all the tickets and all the materials and stuff before you sit down. And I started talking to her, and I find out that not only am I in this group, but I am the second youngest guy in the room. Out of 40 people, there's one other guy who was a little younger than me. He was like 2 years younger, and he was really good looking, so I hated him. Just kidding. And so, but that was me. So I'm like, shit, man, I'm awesome. I mean, I'm so awesome. I not only make all this money, I make all this money at this young age. All these old fuckers, I know more than them. They're a bunch of fucking pussies. They had to wait like 25 years to make this kind of money, and I made it in 3. So fuck yourself. I'm awesome. I'm badass. Yeah, you can kind of tell it's coming. So, I sat down, and they were circular tables. So it was like 40 people, maybe, I don't know, 6, 7 people at a table, and several tables. You sit down, and Brian speaks at the front, and he comes around and talks to you, and blah, blah, blah. And so for one of the exercises, it was a whole day event. So it was a whole day workshop. And God, I still remember this. This was 23, 24 years ago. I still remember how I felt. And I'm all excited. I'm going to learn how to make more money. Woo! And I got to meet Brian Tracy. I'm my hero. He was my hero. Brian Tracy, he still is. He's an old man today. He should fucking retire, but he's my hero. He's like my second dad. And for those who know who he is, you can Google him if you want later, briantracy.com. So I sat down at this table, right? And one of the exercises we had to do was to go around the table and talk about your business. And as part of that, you usually discussed how much money you were making. And I think I was the second person to talk. So I'm like, yeah, I'm Caleb Jones, and I'm a computer. I'm so arrogant. I'm such a little prick. I'm such a little boy. I was 27 years old. I was a child. By the way, when you're 27, you're a little kid. I'm sorry you are. For you guys who are 27 younger, I'm sorry you're a kid. You're a kid. I'm sorry you're a kid. Matter of fact, you're more of a kid now than 25 years ago when men had more testosterone and more mature. So I was a little kid. I thought I was cool. I lived the lifestyle of an adult because I had a wife and children, and a house and a business. But I was a child. I was a fucking kid. Didn't know shit. And it's like, yeah, I'm Caleb Jones, and I'm fucking awesome, and I'm a computer consultant, and I work in Portland, Oregon, and I have a computer consulting business, and I have my own business, and I make $100,000 a year. So then they go to the next guy, or no, it was a guy sitting across from me. And after he's done, he's like, oh, that's great, Caleb. That's great. Yeah, it's cool. Very supportive. And he's like, yeah, so he basically says this. He goes, yeah, I have an investment company. This guy's probably in his mid-50s, investment company. And last year I netted $2.2 million. And he kind of goes through his business. And I go, Tucker Carlson, where he makes that face? That was me. It was like, wait, what? Wait. You mean that's not your net worth? I talked to him later, confirmed all this. Matter of fact, Brian Tracy, his company was doing so well. He hired Brian Tracy. And this was 1999. This was when Brian Tracy was at the height of his fame. So he hired Brian Tracy to come consult with his business. That's how well this guy was doing. And so Brian Tracy later confirmed all these numbers. This guy was not full of shit. This is how much he was making. I'm thinking, okay, so wait, this is not your net worth. I mean, I get being worth $2.2 million. I get that. You make $2.2 million a year. That's your income. That's your take. Is that your gross? Is that your business? No, that was actually what he was making. His business was grossing, I don't know what it was, 6,000, 7,000. He was taking 2.2 out of that. And I'm sitting there staring at and he was not old. He was probably mid-50s, maybe late 50s to the outside. He wasn't some old rich billionaire. He's just a dude. Just sitting there, jeans and a t-shirt, just, like the rest of us. And I'm sitting there going, what the fuck? Wait a minute. You know that movie? Which movie was it? Where the guy gets shot in the head and blood starts squirting out of his head and his brain is like misfiring. So he goes, wait a minute. And he falls over and he dies. That was me. I was like, wait a minute. How does that work? How is it even possible? How is it even possible? What the fuck? How does that? I mean, there was a guy sitting, I'm thinking I'm all badass, and there's a guy sitting right across from me who was making 22 times what I was making, and I thought I was rich. Okay. Then they keep going around the table. The next guy was I still remember this, the former Attorney General of the state of Arizona. That was the next guy sitting next to him. The next guy was a guy who owned not one, not two, not three, but 4 veterinary clinics. His own business he started. He was using the E-Myth model and was franchising these things. Okay. The next guy was a guy from Mexico who helped invent a type of fuel cell. I don't know much about this. It's when you, instead of putting gas in your car, you pull this fuel cell out of your car and you pour gas in the fuel cell, and then you put the fuel cell in the car and it powers the car. That kind of technology. He invented this shit. And I'm sitting there like this. And then it's me, little 27-year-old little Caleb, making the least amount of money of anyone at that table, probably anyone at that fucking room. And I went from I'm the shit to I'm a loser. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And I Okay, I'm back. Please let me know that you can see me again. I don't know what the hell happened. My internet is working perfectly. Gotta love live streams. I will wait for the comments to make sure you guys can still see me and hear me. StreamYard just kicked me out for some reason. Didn't give me a reason. I will wait. Gotta love live streams. Fucking live streams. Okay, could work me out. All right, cool. Thank you. Water time. Hang on a second. Good, I'm glad. Sorry about that. I do not know what happened. I'm doing a ping test over here. My internet's fine. I'll say. Where was I? So I went back to my hotel room and I sat on my bed and I stared at a wall. And I said, I'm a loser. $100,000 a year is nothing compared to what is possible. I didn't know that was possible. I didn't know a 7-figure income was even possible. Now today, 7-figure income makes perfect sense. Matter of fact, I won't go into details about how much money I make, but it's not a big deal. Matter of fact, it isn't even a big deal to me anymore. Matter of fact, just within a few years later, Dan Kennedy actually flow charted out exactly how he made 7 figures a year 20 years ago. So then I understood it. But I didn't know what I was experiencing from those other people were possible. I didn't have any context for what was possible for me. So there's a reason why, I'll go on with this in a second, but there's a reason why it makes perfect sense that when you see a guy on the internet who says, I make $1 million a year, I make $2 million a year, I make whatever, I make $500,000 a year, I make location, whatever that guy said, I'm not talking about me. Any guru goes to the internet and says this, a decent percentage of guys go, that's bullshit. Well, of course they're saying that's bullshit because they're making whatever the fuck they're making, if they're making anything, they're making $22,000 a year. You know, they've never made $35,000 a year in their entire lives. They're bullshit little jobs. So a guy walks along and says, I make $1.5 million a year. The natural reaction would be, oh, bullshit. Come on. Because if you had told me back then, before I walked in that room, you're going to go into a room full of guys who make 7-figure incomes, I would have went, bullshit. Nah. But then I experienced it for myself and I saw it. And I saw it was possible. I'll use a woman parallel for that. This is Sovereign CEO, so I'm not talking about woman stuff. But why is there an Alpha Male 2.0 logo on this video? There should be a Sovereign CEO logo. I just realized that. I got to change that. Anyway, if a guy says, I have sex with supermodels, or I have sex with 18-year-old girls and I'm 50 and I don't pay them, or I hook up with Instagram models, or I hook up with whatever, strippers, whatever it is, okay? A whole pile of guys on the internet go, bullshit, you liar, bullshit. Well, of course they're saying that because all they've done their whole lives is have either no sex or serial monogamous relationships with women who are average, 5s and 6s, maybe 7 every once in a while. So it makes sense when you don't have the context for these things. There's more I could say about that, but that's that's the first point, is that if you don't have a context for these things, it's not possible. And I will tell you, I don't think I've said this publicly. Maybe I have. Even though I hit $100,000 a year at age 27, I languished at the $100,000 a year income level for many years, almost a decade, where I would make $102,000, $106,000, $98,000, $103,000 for years and years and years, because I had set this mental block where I make $100,000 a year, but that's it. I don't make more than that, because you can't make more. How do you make more than that? And only when I hit my late 30s, after my conversion to Alpha Male 2.0, where I said, all right, let's hit this shit. Let's make the big money. And I can say I make multiples of $100,000 a year. But that it took me a long time to get my subconscious to agree that $100,000 was not only doable, but something I deserved. So there's a technique you can use. You should do this. Maybe you shouldn't do it right now while you're watching this live stream. Okay, maybe you should do it a little later. But here, matter of fact, you shouldn't do it, but this is something you should do later. You should do this experiment, okay? This comes right out of stuff for like T. Harv Eker. Those of you know who he is, Millionaire Mind. What you do is you sit down quietly by yourself in a room, okay? Quiet, shut the door, close your eyes, relax, okay? And you say to yourself something like, I deserve blank, some big goal or some big condition. Like, I deserve to be rich. You say that out loud. I deserve to be rich. And then you immediately listen to what your subconscious says, because your subconscious will say something. Now, most of you watching this video, if you said I deserve to be rich, your subconscious is going to say, no, you don't. You don't fucking deserve. If you're a loser, you don't deserve to be rich, right? And for a long time, when I said that to myself, my subconscious, I would say, I deserve to be rich. And my subconscious wouldn't say no, but it wouldn't say yes. It would go, eh. It would say that. I say, I deserve to be rich. My subconscious would go, yeah. I went, uh-oh, that's not good. So I had to reprogram my subconscious to agree with my objectives. I would say, no, I do deserve to be rich. My subconscious would go, maybe, I don't know. Now that's better than is better than no, you loser. That's true, because I was already making $100,000 a year at age 27. So it couldn't say, oh, you can't, you're a loser. It couldn't say that, but it could go, It was many years before I could say, I deserve to be rich. And my subconscious says, yes, you do. Because that's the answer you want to hear. When you just say, I deserve blank, you want to hear from your subconscious, yes, of course you do. Yeah. Strangely, I'll give you a woman example. When I went through my divorce in 2007 and made my conversion to Alpha Male 2.0, I sat down and I said, I deserve to have sex with really hot women, really hot chicks. And for some reason, I have a few theories as to why, my subconscious said, yes, you do. And so that's one of the primary reasons why I went from 0 divorced beta male dad to, within 2 years, a dating level guru, teaching this stuff, having sex with, you know the story if you know my history. Tons of chicks, younger women, on and on. And so the reason I was able to do that is because my subconscious was aligned to my objectives. And today my subconscious is aligned to my financial objectives as well. I'll give you an example where in my life, my subconscious is not fully aligned. I'll give you my example. I've said before that most men, if you take women, money, and fitness, most of you will naturally be good at one of those 3 things. And you'll be shitty or average at the other 2. Maybe you'll be good at one, okay or mediocre or moderately shitty at the other one, and terrible at the third one. Maybe. It depends on the guy, okay? And so my weak area has always been fitness. So today when I say I deserve to have 14% body fat, when I say that, I make that declarative. Can you tell I never went to college? Declarative statement. When I make that declarative statement, my subconscious says, it doesn't say no, but it doesn't say yes. It says, and it still says this after all the work I've done, and this is much better than what it used to say, but it says today, when I say I deserve to be 14% body fat, it goes, do you really want to though? Do you really want to? You remember that cheese Danish you had a few days ago? That was pretty fucking good. You want to only eat that kind of thing once a week for the rest of your life? Mr. Alpha Male 2.0, do whatever you want. You really want to do that? Eh? So my subconscious still is not 100%. And I'm like, yes, I do. Yes, one cheat meal for the rest of my life would be great if I could be 14% body. Yes, I say that. My subconscious says, is it though? So it's still not aligned. So therefore, I'm still struggling. Not struggling, that's not the word. My progress has been slower than I would like in that area of my life. So you need to have first context for what is possible, and then you need to have your subconscious mind on your side. Make sense? And maybe one of the reasons that my subconscious was immediately aligned with my woman stuff is because I had seen other guys who were not very good looking hook up with really hot chicks without giving them any money. I had seen that in my life. So when I said, I can do that, my subconscious would, yeah, you could. Yeah. If these idiots can do it, you can. Sure. Yeah, no problem. Now, let me segue into something else in terms of context, okay? Give this more to Sovereign CEO. And I'll answer your questions in a second. What is this thing over here saying? I'm looking at my live stream stuff. Oh, we're okay, cool. Segue this slightly into what your context is. Most people in the world, let me ask you a question. You don't have to respond to the comments as you want to. You just think the answer, okay? Most people in the world, normal everyday people in the world, the Western world, okay, the collapsing West, do most people study economics? No, they don't. Do most people study macroeconomics? No. Do most people study global politics? No. Do most people study monetary policy and monetary activity, monetary news in terms of the financial markets? Do most people study these? Most people, not you and your friends, most humans. The answer is no, they don't. Do most people study history? No. Most people can't even fucking read these days, right? As the Western world continues to collapse. So, because most people don't look at these things, when someone comes along and says, your country is collapsing, which is what I've been saying now for 12, 13 years now to the entire Western world, Europe, particularly Western Europe, United States, Canada, now Australia, perhaps. When someone like me, or not even me, anyone like me comes on and says, your country is collapsing, and the typical average normal person hears this, what do? Do they sit down and go, let me evaluate the macroeconomics, the history, the debt data, the monetary policy of my country, where the currencies are going, where the markets are going. Let's look at some graphs and charts. And do they do any of that? No, they don't. Here's what they do. I can speak on this from vast experience. Here's what people do on the internet. They go, huh? And they stick their head out their window. They look out there. I have two windows right here, okay? They look out the window and they look right and they look left and they don't see any homeless people in most cities. They don't see any people dying on the street. They don't see any drug addicts. They don't see any airplanes bombing them. They don't see any Russian tanks right outside their window. They don't see any of that stuff. Okay? They don't see any riots, civil unrest, people shooting each other. It just looks perfectly quiet. I'm here in Portland, Oregon, one of the worst cities in the entire Western world. I'm looking out the window right now. This little view of my window looks pretty good. And I see some trees and a street. There's no trash. It looks great. And they do that. They look around and they get back and they go back on the internet to the person who just said your country's collapsing. And they go, you're an idiot. Dumbass, not collapsing. It's great here. And what they might add, what they may throw in is, well, if you live in California, well, of course. But I live in Miami. Everything's perfect here. I just did a TikTok video that went viral, not viral, but viral for me. Thousands of views on TikTok on whether or not Eastern Europe is collapsing based on Western Europe. And a lot of Europeans said, Europe's not collapsing. What are you talking about? And these are people who looked out their windows and said, it looks fine. Europe's collapsing? What the hell are you talking about? You're an idiot. You're a moron. What the fuck are you talking about? Right? You get that. I get that a lot. I've gotten that a lot historically. I get that much less today than I used to. I'll cover that in a second. But, or what I was going to say is what they add to that is, well, other places are collapsing, but not where I live. I mean, shit. So people in Scandinavia say, well, Germany, yeah, UK. All these Scandinavians say, well, in UK, yeah, UK is fucked. The Germans are idiots. Those people in UK, those Britons, stupid. Yeah, but I'm in Scandinavia. We're perfect here. What are you talking about? Or people in Florida, the United States. Well, California, yeah. Well, you're in Portland, Caleb. Of course, you're going to say America's collapsing. I'm in Florida. Florida's great. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're just talking about Portland, just Portland. See, everything else is fine. So they may throw that in there, again, based on what they see out their window. They're not looking at any of the data that I've looked at for the past 15 years of my life. They're not doing any of that research, right? They're not. That's the way it goes. So let me give you some specific examples. When I said this about Germany many, many years ago, Germany is collapsing. Germany is the tip of the spear. Germany's fucked. Many years ago, not today, but many years ago, Germans said, what the fuck are you talking about? Fuck you. No, we're not. Germany's great. You know, Merkel's great. We just elected this new person, Merkel. She's wonderful. She's great. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And that they kept saying that, those Germans. I love the Germans. I am German. I have some German ancestry. I'm Sicilian and German. So I have a connection to the German people in a very real way. I love Berlin, other than, you know, it looks like Mexico City now with all the graffiti because it's collapsing. But anyway, up until about 2014 or so, and if you are a German, you'd probably give me a more accurate year, 2013, 14, 15, somewhere in there. All of a sudden, for the first time, the German people could look out their window and see some shit. And as of around 2014, every time now, since 2014-ish, when I say Germany is collapsing, the Germans go, yeah. I don't have any Germans say, what the fuck are you talking about? My country's doing great. Fuck you. I don't hear that for Germans anymore. I used to, but I don't anymore because normal everyday people can start seeing it. Excuse me. Drink water. Hang on. United States. Okay. I've talked about this many times before. I've been planning on moving out of the United States since 2000. Been thinking about it since 2003. Actually planning on it since 2012, and I did it last year. And so for the past 10 plus years, I've talked to people, clients, friends, people in the United States. So yeah, I'm going to move out of the United States. And up until 2016, that's all changed. Up to 2016, people would say, why? Why would you move out of the United States? This is the best country in the world. Everything's great here. Everywhere else sucks. Why would you move? What a strange thing. Then the Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump election occurred in 2016. And my theory is, I could be wrong, but my theory is that election woke up a lot of normal, everyday, average, brainwashed, stupid Americans to say, whoa, these are the two people I have to vote for Hillary Clinton, one of the biggest criminals in mainstream American politics, and fucking Donald Trump, who thinks Norway is owned by Russia and doesn't know the difference between HPV and HIV. Okay, something's really wrong here. So as of 2016, when I started saying move out of the country, instead of people going, why would you do that? The immediate response, I've had this response many times since then, is, really, where are you going? Really? How you doing it? So like, where are you going? What's your plan? Massive interest. Then in 2020, you all know what happened. Cerveza sickness lockdowns and the Floyd riots. And all of a sudden now, when I say America is collapsing, other than, excuse me, whereas before they would say America's not collapsing, America's fine. What the hell are you talking about? Now Americans say, yep. Or at least they don't say yep. They, like Germans, they go, They don't say yes or no. They just quietly remain silent because they know it's collapsing. Because as of 2020, many Americans looked out their windows and said, oh shit, this is really bad. And it's going to get worse and worse as time goes on. As I've talked about my content, if you live in the United States, civil unrest is going to be something civil unrest and homeless people in many respects, but certainly civil unrest is something you're just going to have to get used to. Regular civil unrest in your cities is something you have to get used to. Have fun with that. I'd rather be in Dubai. We don't have that problem, but that's me. Today, we have people in Canada. Okay. Before, when I said the Western world is collapsing, before this year, I had Canadians say, well, that's the America. America, yeah, you Americans, you guys are idiots. We're Canadians. Our banks are perfect. Okay. Then the trucker protest, and then they can't leave their own country like Soviet Russia, and then your government starts freezing your bank account if you donate $20 to a trucker, and now Canadians like, oh my God. Yes. So when I say Canada's collapsing, I don't get Canadians anymore saying, no, it's not. The next group of people I think it's going to happen to are the Scandinavians. Right now, I get a lot of pushback to the Scandinavians when I say Europe is collapsing. All these Scandinavians say, no, we're not. We're doing perfectly. We have the highest standard of living in the world. Yeah, that's right now. I'm talking about over time, over the next 25 years. We've just entered into a dark age. We have a sovereign wealth fund. And I love when Scandinavians say, we have a sovereign health fund. No, you Scandinavians don't have a sovereign wealth fund. Norway has a sovereign wealth fund. Okay, you're in Sweden or Finland, you're fucked. You're running out of oil in the North Sea. You're screwed. But again, you people don't say this stuff. They just look out their windows. Everything looks fine. What the hell are you talking about? But I promise you, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years, I don't know when it's going to happen. You will have something turn in Scandinavia. And suddenly when I say Scandinavia is collapsing, I'm not going to get any more pushback. And that's going to keep happening and happening and happening and happening. Now, why is that? Because people are using the wrong context. They don't have the context for what's actually occurring in their lives and what they want to occur. Make sense? Just like I was woken up to the reality of you can make a 7-figure income and it's not that hard, in my opinion. Just like I woke up to that, people had to wake up to the reality of the Western world collapsing, something I've been saying for, 10 plus years. By the way, you can go to my blogs and still look at the comments for what people told me 10 plus years ago when I said America's collapsing. The comments, I don't delete any comments off my blog. They're all still there. Some of them, you have to dig through them, but they're all still there because I wanted to show people how insane people are and how irrational people are when they lack context, when they don't do the research. I had people say, when I said I'm moving out of the United States back in 2012, when I said I'm moving out of the United States because it's collapsing, people said, oh, this guy's an idiot. This guy's a moron. This guy's going through a midlife crisis. This guy's anti-American. This guy is a puppet of so-and-so. What's fascinating on some of the TikTok videos I've done lately, when I say anything negative about Europe, all of a sudden guys saying, "Oh, you're a Putin puppet. Oh, yeah, you're working for Putin, huh?" I've been saying these things 15 years, so no, this is before Putin. So that's it. It's the main thing I want to explain to you. And before I get to the Q&A, really quick, 2 quick things. On the NFTs, I delayed the NFTs. The official date, I'll do a YouTube video about this and I'll send out an email to the email list. The official date for the NFT auction is May 18th. We regularly get emails saying, hey, can I pay Caleb for one-on-one coaching, which I don't do anymore for like 1-hour things. You have to buy me for a month. But the way to do it is you get the NFTs. That's one way I did the NFTs. That's how I'm doing coaching. So if you want coaching, May 18th, mark your calendars. That's you get the NFTs. That's the official date. Something else that I can't talk about a lot is after May 18th, May and June, more on this coming. This is something you guys have asked for and something my advisors have been pressuring me to do for a long time, and I've been resisting it. We're going to do a program where we will actually walk you through, we will hold your hand and walk you through the steps and make you do them on setting up your own location independent Alpha 2.0 business. Literally, you're going to be talking to me or a different coach once a week over a 12-week period. And we show you step-by-step how to do it. There's a system. You'll be in our base camp system where we have to-do items for you to check off. We tell you exactly what to do. So by the end of 12 weeks, you're actually making real money. And it's going to be a few $1,000s, but it's going to be far less money than my focus program or 6-figure warrior mentorship. And if you're actually in one of those programs, don't worry, we'll either let you in for free or at cost or something like that. So that's coming. That may be a game changer because it's more than just me. Here's some videos on how to do it. Go watch them, which is what I do now. This is more of a done for you, done with you service. So that's coming in May or June. Something we're working on right now. We're working very hard on this. It's a big deal. I'm kind of nervous about it because it requires some of my personal time, and my time is kind of expensive these days. But anyway, those 2 things. Cool. All right. I'm going to scroll up on the comments here, and I will answer your questions for as long as I can. How are we doing on time? Well, I got some time. Good. Let's see. A lot of questions. Shit, you guys. Let's see. You order them normally, but you get discount codes. So you ask Erica. You could either submit a help ticket, or you can ask Erica for the discount codes that you guys get. We have to change them every month because what will happen is guys will sign up for SMIC, get the codes, and then quit SMIC, and then use the codes forever. So we have to change them every month. So you just get the codes from her. Why is this not clicking? Hang on. StreamYard is a little weird. I'm clicking show. Do I have to turn this off first? No, that's not clicking either. Weird. Hang on. See if I can figure this out. Gotta love live streaming. Gotta love live streams. Show. Come on, dude. Hang on. Sorry, kick me out again. This keeps happening. I may have to be more choosy about the questions I answer. Sorry about that. Can you give a quick example when dating new women? When do you tell them you are in an open marriage, and how do you break it to them? I tell them right up front, but I'm very confident, and I have 15 years plus experience doing this. So what you can do is after the first date or at the beginning of the second date, you can do that. Cool. Quick thoughts on Paraguay versus Uruguay. Uruguay is better for most people. You're going to rough it a little more in Paraguay. Uruguay has much better infrastructure, has more money, feels a little more normal. Paraguay really is the emerging market. And so if you're willing to rough it, although Paraguay is cheaper, excuse me. So I like Paraguay better because I like the women better and I like the people better. I think it's a nicer place for me, but Uruguay is the shit. Uruguay is great. Strongly recommend Uruguay. When you get settled in Dubai for the long term, will you do seminars based in Dubai for people who travel too, meetups and such? I have 2 events planned in Dubai. One of them is you have to buy one of the NFTs, and another one you will have tickets for. Anyone can do it. So yes, we will be doing regular events in Dubai. Correcto. I'm in the States. Would I need another passport for applying for residency or a passport in another country? You need a U.S. passport in order to leave the country. So get your passport if you don't have one. Anyone watching my content who is an American should have an American passport so you can travel. That's a no-brainer. You know, I have never seen John Tucker Must Die. I've never seen that. You know why? Isn't that a 90s or 2000s movie? That's when I really wasn't watching those kinds of movies. I had kind of grown out of them. I'll have to watch it. I really haven't watched that movie. I couldn't tell you. Curious. Immigration in Paraguay. Paraguay give everyone permanent residency but no citizenship. What's the reason? They don't give everyone permanent residency. They were very open about residency until they locked it down in 2018 because too many people were doing it. A bunch of people started applying for the residency program. They were like, oh shit. That is typical in most countries. Most countries are very choosy about people they want to give citizenship to unless they're Caribbean countries. That's just the standard. They don't want a lot of extra citizens. That's a lot of extra work for them. So that's what they're doing is normal. I'm lagging again. Hang on. My mouse will not move. Sorry about this. This is pretty lame. I wonder if it's my internet connection here in Portland. If it's possible. I miss Dubai so much. 2 more weeks. Oh, here we go. Telemarketing works very well. I just closed it down during Cerveza, a very profitable business doing nothing but telemarketing and direct mail. Telemarketing still works very well if it is a B2B business. If it's B2C, I wouldn't bother. But if it's B2B, telemarketing works fantastic. Yes, do it. What would be the rough, dude, you got a great picture. What would be the rough equivalent of 100K in 1999 2002, like 500K? Not quite that much. You should just do an inflation calculator. Just Google it right now and bring up a new tab and do an inflation calculator and type in 100K, $100,000 1990. And I would guess, let's see, I would guess 260-ish. That'd be my wild guess. See if I'm right. Why nobody replies to support emails? You have to make sure you're sending it to theonlyblackdragon@gmail.com. And the only thing I can think of is that it's going into our spam filter. So maybe I would suggest sending the email from a different email address and make see if that works. My staff replies to all of them. I see it not quite every day, but almost every day. I see the replies. We reply to all that stuff. Do I think a housing bubble collapse coming to the U.S.? Yes, but it'll be very different than what we're typically accustomed to. Houses are not the future. Apartments are the future. As the Western world continues to collapse, Grant Cardone's talked about this, and he's right. Less and less people will bother to get a house. Millennials and Gen Z can't afford to buy a house. Normal human beings can't afford to buy houses in major cities. Try to buy a house in Vancouver, BC, or LA. Just try it. You can't. Although Vancouver, BC is not US. So yes, there is a collapse coming like that, but it will not be like 2008. It will not be like, the early 1990s. It'll be a little different than what we've seen before. Can't go back home. Start a business. Start a location-independent business. That's it. Start a location-independent business. Location-independent income solves all these fucking problems. It sucks you can't go back home. I understand. I feel your pain. Trust me. Hopefully, I will not have to get a jab to go back to my second home, Paraguay. We'll see. I've wanted to go to Canada, but they won't let me in. I have not been to Hong Kong in 3 years. I hate it because I need a jab to go there. It sucks. My favorite city in the world, Shanghai, is now a land of terror. If you see the news about what's going on in Shanghai, it's horrific what's going on there. Gotta love big government. I do not know who Coach Red. Oh, Coach Red Pill. I know who that is. Turned to be a Russian propagandist is. I have no idea. I don't really pay attention to his content, and I don't even know if what you're saying is accurate. Yeah, Chris is great. Talk to Chris a lot. Good-looking loser, Chris. Good guy. Like him a lot. Come on, SteamYard. Jesus Christ, it's that hard? Next time I do this, I'm going to set up my internet connection a little differently. This is bullshit. This is way too slow. Relate chat. Made over 32K in 2 months for nothing but fucking 3 months. Mindset blockages by subconscious online to my goal. Yeah. So wait, you made 32K in 2 months, over 32K in 2 months, and nothing for fucking 3 months. Oh, I see what you're saying. Right. That's how it works. Right. Yeah. What is it? 27% of all dollars in circulation were printed during Cerveza last year. Did Trump make America great again, guys? Trump will make America great again. He'll bring all the manufacturing jobs back. I had my head in the sand to 2020. So I no longer adore it for seeing our country's response to the virus and watching people lose their minds during the BLM and Antifa protest riots. I think I probably just got demonetized by saying that. Correct. And that is most Americans. Most Americans had their head in the sand until they saw it out their windows. Right. And when you see it out their window, then a guy like me saying your country is collapsing. So yeah, it's unfortunate that people don't do more research. But as part of the cultural collapse, because I talk about economic and governmental collapse, there's also a cultural collapse. As part of that, people are getting dumber. I mean, I sell a book that's 444 pages. I can't sell that book anymore because people don't want to read books anymore because they're getting too dumb. I have to sell a comic book now. Right? Waiting for the streaming thing. Sorry. Come on, baby. No, I have not dated any Arab women in Dubai. I've not done that. What's the best country for dating Middle Eastern women? Well, I don't think I'm allowed to answer that question because I am a good and loyal resident of the United Arab Emirates, and there are rules to follow in the United Arab Emirates. Having premarital sex is now legal, so I guess I can say that. Here's a general answer. The best place to be would be the more westernized, liberalized Arab countries. There's basically three. There's Qatar, Bahrain, and United Arab Emirates. Are probably the best ones. Now, I am planning on going to, when Cerveza all calms down, I am planning on going to Saudi Arabia. That's going to be a really interesting trip. I'll videotape as much as I can. I probably shouldn't say that. But I'm definitely going because it's my next door neighbor now in Dubai. Australia and New Zealand will suffer economically, but we have discovered through countries like China that the elites are willing to suffer economically for a while if they feel that their COVID measures are warranted. So they're willing to suffer economically. The authority is more important to them than the long-term or mid-term economics, which is very interesting. There's also a big factor of not on my watch. A lot of people around the world, governments around the world, the elites say, well, I don't want people dying on my watch. I don't want that to be in my Wikipedia article. So I will go ahead and destroy people's financial lives to make sure that doesn't happen. And by the way, I'm going to repeat to you guys, there's something you guys don't understand. A lot of you guys still don't get this. Most people in Australia and New Zealand support these draconian cerveza sickness measures. Most people in Canada support what Canada is doing where you can't leave your own country. They think that's a great idea. The people against this, the trucker protests, are the small percentage of people who don't support that. And again, I will say again, I don't know, I don't have data to back this up, but I would bet money on this. I would bet real money that most of the trucker protests in Canada before the government just snapped their fingers and ended it by freezing people's bank accounts, which is why protesting never works. But I would bet you that most of those protesters, most of those truckers, or at least the plurality, voted for the same political party as dipshit, your prime minister over there. His name eludes me. Trudeau. I would bet that most of those truckers voted for the party who supports Trudeau. You see the problem? No, I did not work with a mindset coach. I did all this myself. No, I didn't. I just did a lot of work on myself. I work with coaches. I have coaches, but I don't have any mindset coaches. But I've had coaches who helped me realize, Caleb, yeah, you can make, I mentioned this before, 2019, I sat down and made a decision about, do I ride out my income now, my nice income, and just live a nice life, or do I go for the big money? And it took me 2 months to make that decision, and I decided to go for the big money. And some of my coaches encouraged me. I was like, Caleb, you could make the numbers I was quoting that I consider big money, big numbers. Like, Caleb, you could do that. Are you kidding? Shit. Based on what you already done, easy. So yeah. Yeah, I don't teach get rich. I just don't teach. I'm not Grant Cardone. I'm not Gary Vee. I don't teach get rich. I teach location independent income, $85,000 a year or more if you want it. In my more narrow coaching programs, like the masterminds I'm doing, the six-figure warrior mentorship, in those small programs, I teach bigger numbers. But in terms of my content to the world, if you start saying, I'm going to make you a millionaire, woo! I mean, 70% of the audience, because they don't have any content, goes, that's stupid. And they tune out. There's a reason I don't like talking about how much money I make or how much money I'm worth, because I know what happens. A lot of the audience just goes, well, I could never do that, and they tune out. So that's why. Romania is decent. Bulgaria, I have not done a lot of research on Bulgaria. Romania is decent. No much better or worse than any other Eastern European country. I know the women there are very pretty. Fitness advice for 27 to 8-year-old male digital nomads who want to stay fit while traveling and be a specific enough niche, or do I need to get narrower? No, that's specific enough. Now, the question you have to ask yourself is, do young digital nomads give a shit about fitness? It's like it's the example I've given before as a joke is I teach young gamers how to get fit. Do guys playing Fortnite 8 hours a day give a shit about being fit? That's your issue there, but that could be a niche within a niche. So, but in terms of whether that's a niche, it is. Insurance, yes, but it depends on what you're doing. If you have your own insurance company, sure. Yeah. Insurance is very profitable. You go into any major city, the tallest buildings are owned by what? Banks and insurance companies, because owning insurance is basically like printing money. Kind of insane. So insurance is okay as long as you control what's going on. A bad idea is to be an insurance rep and have 100% of your income comes from one company that you're repping. That's a terrible idea, because if that company goes out of business or changes the rules, you're fucked. So as long as you have a basket, a portfolio of insurance programs you represent, and you're selling them as a purely self-employed location-independent guy, that'd be okay. So there's a lot of ifs in that statement. What's your best country to open your location independent? There is no best country. There's about 15 good ones. Ones I've taught on my YouTube channel. Go watch my YouTube videos. Yes, we will be doing something like that in Dubai. We will. Definitely. Two similar events like that in November, December, and then more next year. Any advice to deal with feeling emotional when you think about what will happen when your loved one's back in the Western world when it collapses? Well, here's how I look at this, but this is very easy for me because I'm an INTJ, low empathy guy. My family makes their own decisions. So one thing I'm doing in this week and next week, next 2 weeks, is saying goodbye to all my family members who are not moving out of the United States. So tomorrow I have lunch with 2 of my brothers who are not moving. Matter of fact, one loves Portland, and the other one is now moving to Portland from various places he lived throughout the country. These are the decisions they're making. It's not like they don't know. They know me. They don't know my content, but that's the decision they're making. They're adults. Adults make their own decision, Then I'm saying goodbye to my mom on Monday because we have the same birthday. It's kind of neat. So I have dinner with my mom on Monday. We have lunch with Pink Firefly's mom on next Thursday. I have a birthday dinner with me and my daughter. But my daughter's leaving the United States at some point, so she's smart. My point is that people make their own decisions, right? Your family's making, they're adults. They got to make their own decisions. You can't feel bad about decisions they choose to make. You can't. I mean, you can, but there's no point. They're making this decision. It's not like they're doing this by accident. They're making the conscious decision to stay in the United States. I don't know that quite. I don't know. Maybe because that business program will give people the course as supplemental material. I would say maybe a small discount. This is a very labor intensive program, so we can't give big discounts other than the people in the Six-Figure Warrior mentorship. So if there is, it'll be a small one, but maybe. Would adding a WG and high-end MLTR to my tier system overcomplicating things for a 24-year-old or not? No, you can do whatever you want. It's fine. What's the difference between rotation versus roster as seen on the scorecard? Rotation is our active women you're seeing right now. Roster are the total number of women that you could bring in right now, most of whom are inactive. That's the difference between roster and rotation. So how many women are you seeing right now? That's the number of women you have in rotation. How many women you have sex with more than twice who like you for your entire life, your entire history? That's your roster. Two different numbers. And rotation is going to be a much smaller number. And when you get sovereign CEO, you'll have rosters in different countries. It's kind of complicated. Get your spreadsheets out. Online business selling art. What do you think about the idea of marketing through selling retail stores? Retail is dying. I think it's a terrible idea. Oh, here we go. 220. So I was a little off. Okay. All right, cool. 220,000. So here's my opinion on feeling rich. You don't really feel rich until you're making about $250,000 a year. Okay. So when you're making 250 today, I'm talking about today now, not 1990s. If you make $250,000 a year, especially if your debt is low, you don't have kids and stuff, you're doing okay. You're feeling pretty good because you're making over $20,000 a month. That's pretty good money. When I hit $250K a year, I'm like, oh, okay. I feel like I have money now. Cool. This is kind of nice. All right. This is good. It's not good enough. Not for me, but it's good. It's not bad. Would you count Facebook ads and Instagram ads as two separate marketing streams or one, since it can be rather one? That is online advertising. So I consider that the same stream. Online, because I do ads on Instagram, a little bit of TikTok and YouTube. That's one stream. That's one marketing technique for me. How do you get better at sales marketing for A2 business if you have no business experience? You just do it and you read books. So the book you need to read, if you are new, is go on Amazon and get it right now. Guerrilla Marketing in 30 Days by J. Conrad Levinson. Get that book and read it. Take notes. It'll show you how to do it. Oh, okay. I made people very angry with those videos. That's why I said there's no wall. Yeah. Why am I blurry? Let me see if I can focus. Focus. Focus, camera. Focus. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Okay. I'll do it. Good idea. I like pissing people off. Oh, he's talking to someone else. Do you believe voting is fake? Depends how you define fake. Politics is another divide and conquer scheme. Yes. Both sides are actually working together. They're just subscribing to a different faction. Yes. The United States, Vox Day has said this for years before he went crazy, has said that we do not have a two-party system. We have a one-party system with two factions. Correct. Yet voting is, whether or not it's fake, voting is useless. So again, you could have voted for Trump or Hillary. Which one would have made America better? Neither. Which one would have made a decent improvement? Neither. So does it fucking matter? No. I haven't voted in a mainstream American election in 20 plus years, 25 years. It's a waste of my time. Okay. Now, I have said, I did a whole video on this. You could go on my YouTube channel about this. I did my Donald Trump video when Donald Trump was no longer president anymore. I said, if you had people voting for third parties, Americans, where you had like 10, 15% of the vote every year was for a third party, you could start steering America in the correct direction. Not anymore. It's too late. The window to save America was 20 years ago. So it's not anymore, but you could have done that. Instead of saying, well, I can't vote for them, they won't win. So I got to vote for these two horrible people. So yes, voting is, whether or not it's fake, it's useless. In many respects, it is fake, yes. Jay Abraham is a fucking genius. I have everything he's ever written, including his real expensive stuff he has in like workshops and stuff. Those are some of my prized possessions. Using technology, software, and automation, a 21st century combo of Jay Abraham and Russell Brunson. Well, isn't Russell Brunson basically the Jay Abraham? I mean, he's not, Russell Brunson's not a joint venture guy. So you talk about, if it depends what you mean. If you're talking about Jay Abraham in terms of joint ventures, using automated technology to build joint ventures. So I can tell you who that kind of is. That guy is Jay Fissett, who I've worked with. He's pretty fucking good. But are you talking about me or you doing this? I don't know what you mean. Why not? There's an airport. You fly right into it. My staff did the research. You just fly right into there. Plus, I wanted somewhere nice. I want to be on an island. So you just fly to the airport. It's not a big deal. Why do people call them elites? Why do they call the elites elites when there's nothing elite about them? I think that's what they want people to think of them when all they have is money. Well, no, the elites don't call themselves the elites. They want them, the elites want you to think they're like them, right? I call them the elites. The elites are the upper 10,000 men in the United States, 10,000 people, I should say, maybe the upper 25,000 people in the world who run the world. That's what the elites are. Sorry, I have to check my phone here real quick. Sorry, I got to multitask a little bit on these live streams. Hang on. One of my FBs sending me Snapchats. Great. Hang on. God damn. Hang on a second. Sorry for the delay. Hang on a moment. The joy of running multiple companies. I'm going to turn my phone off silent. I got to go in about 10-ish minutes or so. Sorry about that. How do you know you start advertising? If you have the budget. If you have the budget, do it now. Should you wait until you get all your systems and processes in place first? Yes. Obviously, you need to get your systems in place where someone can buy something from you and you can get that money and you can give them that item. Wait to do that first, then start advertising. I work with a bunch of Lebanese guys. As a flag, I don't know. I'm halfway on it. I'm iffy on it. I don't know. It's not a great region of the world. Focus, motherfucker. So I'm 50-50 on it. Would you change your mentor if you have learned as much as you can from them? Yes, I would. I've done that. So Brian Tracy, kind of moved on from Brian Tracy years ago because it was kind of the same thing over and over again. I'm like, well, I got it. I still go back and review his stuff because his stuff is fucking gold. But yes. Plus, the other thing too is you will go through different phases of your life. So a lot of the Brian Tracy advice for me at this point isn't really going to help me because I'm kind of in a different phase of life. So that's another reason you would do that. No, I would not do that. I would start your business and roll with it. I don't think you need more education. No. Yes, still do it in 2022. Yes, you can still do it. Google Tommy Rodriguez. He could, if you have $20,000, he'll set you up in your own company doing that stuff. It works very well. Yeah. Do you think China will take over California when the U.S. collapses? China will take over regardless. Now, the problem is China is doing literally everything wrong right now. I don't know what's up their ass. It's very strange to watch what China's been doing over the last 2 years. It's very odd to me why they're doing certain things, but they're doing a lot of shit wrong. But they will still surpass the West just because of momentum and various other factors, demographics and other things. So, I haven't changed my stance on China But China has certainly delayed their rise because all the stupid shit they're doing. Yes. Well, who are my current mentors, advisors, coaches? I'm not sure if I want to say their names. I've mentioned them a few times before in some of my coaching programs. I don't know if I want to mention their names publicly. Some of these guys aren't taking on business. Very few of these guys have any social media presence. You know, the guys who make the big money, they're not on social media. They don't give a fuck about that. I will say one, Dan Sullivan, okay, who runs Strategic Coach. He's a guy who works 3 days a week and makes about $30 million a year on 3 days a week. Literally. Yeah. Not bad. Not a bad mentor to have. So, I mean, there's a few. I have a few. Thoughts on secret societies like the Freemasonry and how influential these societies affect the world. I don't think these are as influential as people think. I think that there is no conspiracy. They're out in the open. The Bilderbergers, you know, they're out in the open. They're openly running shit, right? Henry Kissinger is out in the open running shit. These people are running. Bill Gates, these people are out in the open. They don't hide. They're out in the open. You don't have to look for secret societies anymore. They're out in the open at this point. Again, people are so stupid, they can pull this off. It doesn't matter. What's your latest weight loss update? I have gained weight. I lost a bunch and I've gained weight in the last 2 months from all the traveling I've been doing. It's very hard to lose weight when you do nonstop travel. I've learned this. I probably should have figured that out last year. So when I get settled again in Dubai, we start on the next phase again, to re-lose what I've gained. And yeah, sucks. Everything else in my life is amazing except that. It's the only problem in my life that is not good. I've never been to Koh Sanyo. I've never been there, so I couldn't tell you. That's a good idea. I will do that. Central America, no. Southeast Asia, yes. I will definitely do some Southeast Asia videos. Central America, I just don't recommend Central America. I just don't. Outside of Panama, I just don't recommend it. It's kind of a shithole region. Do you work so much because you want the money or because you genuinely enjoy building your company? Both. I like both. I enjoy about 80% of what I do, and I love the money. Both. I'm both. Thoughts of being a superhuman, high income, great body, day in life, great spirituality. Yeah, it's called self-actualization. That's the goal I have. My woman life on a scale of 1 to 10 is an 11. My financial life, business life, in terms of what I think is a 10, is about a 9. It needs to be a 10. My fitness, my health is about an 8. My fitness is probably about a 5. So I'd like to get my health to a 10 as much as a 50-year-old man can. And I would like to get my fitness up to at least an 8. That's like athletic level in my view. So big goals, but I got time. I'm only 50. 50 is pretty young these days. So I agree. Modern life dating. Which one is that? Trying to skip the West. Who is that? There's so many dating guys now. Which one is modern life dating? I know who that is. That I recognize that name. Give me his name. I don't remember who that is, but certainly I should reach out to him. You're right. Lucario and I will definitely be doing stuff. And I have some other guys I'm not going to mention who I'm going to be doing stuff with. I got a lot of plans for joint ventures with me and dating guys, where the dating guys can teach their dating advice, and I can be their wing of their business that teaches business and 5 flags advice to that same audience. Because I've learned through you guys that guys who are really into dating, a strong percentage of those guys are really into setting up location-dependent income, have their own Alpha 2.0 business, and moving out of their countries. It's a very nice market to be in right now. There's a billion books I can recommend. If you go to my blogs, go to my blog, alphamail20.com space books, not slash, just Google that. I have like the top 10 books you should read, the top 17 books you should read. Here are the top 3 in my opinion, other than The Unchained Man. Read that book. That's my book. You need to read that. Other than that, How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World by Harry Brown, Winning Through Intimidation by Robert Ringer, and Maximum Achievement by Brian Tracy. Those 3. Read. Those are like the core books most of you guys should read. Moving to live Singapore. Singapore is amazing. That is where I would move were it not for the humidity. If you don't mind heat and humidity, which is a real problem there, Singapore is the shit. It's one of the best countries in the world. One of the least bad countries in the world. There's a lot of things about Singapore I don't like, but it's one of the least bad countries in the world. If it were not for the humidity, I would be living in Singapore instead of Dubai. I just can't handle that humidity. I can't do it. I can handle the heat. I live in Dubai. I can't handle the humidity. I just can't do it. I'm pussy with that stuff. How's your residency for Mexico going? I'm going to do a video on that. So Pink Firefly and I just 2 weeks ago went up to Seattle and got our, I should show you, I don't have it in front of me, our visa stamps. So our temporary visas. We have to go back to Mexico before October 5th to get our residency. Very excited. That's the last step. It's awesome. So we'll probably go in September. We're doing an event in the United States in the southwest, somewhere in there. And then I'm going to pop down to Guadalajara and get that part done, and we will be done. That will be my 6th residency. Woo! Is your mission the main reason you need more money? Yes. My mission is my main reason for everything. MLD? What's MLD? I don't know what that is. Hot Dude Life Mexico. Oh, the dating guide? I don't know. Any courses we can look forward to other than the Do It For You business course? Yes, we have another Get Residency course coming up later in the year. What else? I can't talk about it. The main thing are those NFTs. The NFTs is like more than a course. NFTs. Coaching and events. Coaching, services, and events through the NFTs. So get your Ethereum. Get it now. Don't wait. But that do it yourself or do it with you business course, it's not a course, it's a program. It's not a course. That's huge. We're going to run that all year long. We'll run ads for it and everything else. Have I talked to George? Let me think a minute. I have nothing on the agenda with George. No. I'm trying to think. Have I already talked to him? I think I have. There will definitely be something with him and I. I mean, he's like brother from another mother. I mean, Jesus Christ. I am not going to write fiction novels until I roll into the next phase of my mission, which is when I'm 53 or 54. I can't fit my time. The best you're going to have to go for is either short stories, which I've written a few that I might publish, and the Black Dragon and Pink Firefly comic book. Issue number 2 is almost done. Issue number 3 will be done in a few weeks. And we're actually going to put that on Comixology. We've done that. That's how we're submitting all that stuff now. It's awesome. I know it's good. I don't know it's good. It's all subjective. When I read my own comic and it makes me laugh, even though I wrote it, I was writing some of the stuff a few nights ago at night, and I was laughing at my laptop. Pink Firefly's like, "What's so funny?" I'm like, I'm writing the next issue of the comic book. She goes, "Oh, pretty good." Best neighborhood to live in Dubai for lower income guys. Dira, probably Dira. The other side of the river, the other side of the creek. Probably the best one. Alphabet books you've read. Oh, well, anything written by James Clavell. Shogun, Taipan. My favorite single novel of all time is Noble House. Any of those. Fucking read those. If you like fantasy, the best alpha male character is Corwin of Amber. Hang on. That would be the Amber Chronicles. Hang on, I got to check my stuff here. Corwin of Amber is probably my favorite character in all of fantasy. He is pure alpha. He's not a very nice guy. He's pure alpha. Fucks chicks and great. All right. I think I'm going to wrap it up. Let's go like a few more minutes and I'll wrap it. Would you buy a ticket to fly into space? Yes, I'm going to. I'm going to be in outer space in my lifetime. Why not? No, not now. Not when the tickets are super expensive. I'm not going to be an early adopter of this shit. I'm not spending $300,000 on a fucking no. I have investments. I'd rather put that in my business. You kidding? You handed me $300,000 would not go to fucking buy a plane ticket. But down the road, yes, I'm 50. I plan on living well past 100. I got 60 more years to live on this earth, if not more, at least. Oh yeah, I'm going to space. Fuck yeah. You know what's really sad about this? And maybe this will come out of this. I may have mentioned this before. Years ago, there were some predictions about advancements in aerospace technology. And what they said was, they didn't say you're going to be able to go into space. They didn't say that. They said by the 2010s, which we have now passed, we're in the 2020s, you will be able to, there will be airplanes, not spaceships, but airplanes. And they will take off like the space shuttle and they will land like the space shuttle. And they will be airplanes that go into space just for a few minutes and then drop back down to Earth. And the reason they'll do that is you'll be able to fly to anywhere on the planet Earth in less than 90 minutes. That would be awesome. So literally, you'll get up in the morning, you'll be in New York, you'll get on your plane, shoot into space, come back down. You'll be in China, have a meeting in China, go back to New York, and be back in time for dinner. Now, that never happened. And most that's because of laws and regulations and big government, of course. But that's what I'm hoping all this space bullshit is about. Space is cool. I want to go to space, but in terms of functionality, I want to be able to go anywhere in the world in an hour and a half. Motherfucker, that'd be great. There's less of a demand for that now because of cerveza sickness and nobody wants to go anywhere and everyone wants to do Zoom, but I don't. There's a lot of you don't. Imagine if you had my income and you could buy a plane ticket anytime you wanted for any reason you wanted, whenever you wanted, but you could go anywhere in the world within an hour and a half. God damn. Not to mention the money-making opportunities for that kind of thing. If you do coaching or consulting like I do. Oh, son of a bitch. Hang on, I got to multitask a little bit. That would be the shit. Let's see. Paraguay is your most favorite country in Latin America, or are others as good too? Well, yes, there are others that are as good or even better. It's just my personal favorite. Colombia is amazing. Ecuador is great. Uruguay is great. Argentina and Brazil are great if you can make them work. Some guys can, some guys can't. So no, there's lots of great countries in Latin America. They're wonderful. Mexico is, the more I spend time in Mexico, the more I learn about Mexico, the more I like it. Mexico's the shit. Now, it's right next door to America, which is collapsing. That's a problem. But if you have location of income outside of that region, who cares? So no, there are lots of places in Latin America that are wonderful. Paraguay happens to be my personal favorite as a backup living flag for me. That's just my personal preference. I've said this before. There are many of you who go to Paraguay and go, this sucks. This is boring. This is stupid. This is crappy. You would hate Paraguay. Just like there are many of you who go to Dubai and hate Dubai. Okay? This is my preference. You want light life in an exciting place. Fucking go to Buenos Aires. That's the shit. That's great. But I could never live in Buenos Aires. All right, a few more minutes. Any future countries you're predicting will have future residency programs that will have future No, it's going to get harder, not easier. No. Five Flags gets harder every year, not easier. So you can't wait on this shit, you fucking guys. If you want residency, you need to start working on this right the fuck now, because in a year from now, you may not be able to get it. There's a reason I was a maniac last year, got 6 residencies. Why did I do that? It's stupid. No, it's not stupid, because now I got them. And now I'm good. You guys who are like, well, it's not that bad. Well, I'm a little busy right now. In 3 years, you won't be able to get most of the residencies that I got because you're waiting. So this is not going to get easier or new programs. No, assume it's going to get harder every year, because it is. As the world continues to collapse, as the dark age continues to move forward, this is going to get harder, not easier. At some point, Five Flags or getting residencies and passports will only be available for the super rich. You won't be able to get residencies anymore. You just won't. Minus maybe 2 or 3 little countries that don't care. Only super rich people will be able to do this. Right now, anyone can do it as long as you're willing to travel a little bit and file some paperwork. Okay? That's not going to be the case forever. All right, guys. I'm going to let you go. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are great. I will probably do another live stream next week. Probably do another one of these in lieu of doing my usual content, although we have more content coming. But I will see you very soon. Have fun. Have a good weekend. Bye.